happy. Wala, happy lang. Wala pala. Happy Wednesday, everyone! Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Yes, gabi. In advance ko na kasi ang dilim sa kwarto ko. Akala mo andito kayo. Hello, everyone! Kamusta naman kayo, Vlogga fam? I know you guys are so excited sa mga pag-uusapan natin ngayon kasi ako, excited din ako. And alam naman natin kung ano nararamdaman ko, yun din mararamdaman nyo. May rule pala. So, yung mga mararamdaman ko ngayon, Vlogga fam, I hopefully ganun din nararamdaman nyo. Sana excited kayo. Gaya ni Miss Smil. Hello, Miss Smil, na nag-hello sa akin. Natutuwa ako na kaya ko i-flash ang iyong comment. Hello, Miss Smil Poblete. Happy Wednesday. Mas happy ka pa sana sa Wednesday. I hope you guys are excited dahil ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon ay mga bagay na tinutulungan tayong makasurvive, not just throughout the day, not just through the week, pero parang sa buhay talaga, lahat ng mga makakatulong sa inyo to survive everyday life. Yes, gusto ko yung pinapasmile ako ni Miss Smile. Smile pala ang basa, hindi pala smile. Mali ako agad. Miss Smile. Hello, Miss Smile. Smile ka pala. Mag-smile ka lang dyan. So anyway, guys, I just wanna quickly share with you guys kung ano ang nakakapagpa-survive sa akin throughout the day. Ngayon, ang pinangahawakan ko para ma-survive ko ang araw ko ay ang paniniwala sa law of attraction. Zay, hindi ko talaga alam kung gaano ako ka-thankful na may law of attraction. Kung ako lang naniniwala doon, let me know sa comment section. Let me know sa comment section, Vlogga fam, kung ako lang ba naniniwala sa law of attraction or kayo din ay naniniwala. Kasi ngayon, sa sobrang dami ng nangyayari sa mundo, sa sobrang dami ng mga ginagawa natin, talagang kailangan mo ng law of attraction. Lalo kapag medyo negative na yung nangyayari sa buhay mo, kailangan mong kumapit dyan para naman pumasok ang goodness sa mga buhay natin, di ba? At sobrang goodness nga talaga, kailangan maniwala tayo doon. And I'm sure you guys are excited kung sino ba ang mga guests natin tonight na makakasama pa natin sa ganitong usapan para mas madami tayong ma-attract na energy. Energy? Bakit energy? Ano to? Zumba pala? Hindi, eto na nga, Vlogga fam. Let me know kung may mga questions kayo tonight about surviving dahil I'm sure kayang-kaya nila yan sagutin. Eto, may nagko-comment ng PPD represent. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung PPD, but hello, Sir Angelo. Hello sa inyo. And I'm super excited to show you guys kung sino ang ating mga makakasama tonight. So, wag na natin patagalin kasi ako lang naman ata ang matagal dito. Our first guest for tonight is the podcast host of Love, Growth, and Freedom. Oh, let's all welcome Adrian Duarte!
Hi guys! Magandang gabi. Dahil gabi na dyan. Okay, magandang gabi. Hi guys, good evening to all of you. I'm Adrian Duarte, diba? Love, Growth, and Freedom. Thanks for having me here today.
Yes! Ang ganda naman ng pasok na yon. Mas maganda ka pa sa gabi, Adrian. Gusto mo yun? Yes.
Sweet.
Ayan, may nagko-comment na agad ng Duarte Lim. May
Hi! Maraming salamat. Thanks for
Ayan.
dropping by.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, ayan, sinagot ka ni Angelo. Sabi ni Angelo, ang PPD is Philippine Podcast Directory. They are a group of, a community of podcasters. If you want to listen to podcasts made by Filipinos, you could drop by at PPD. Ayan, shout out.
Love it! Thank you so much po sa pag-abang. And I'm sure inaabangan nyo na rin po ang ating next guest na nakikita ko sa backstage na nakangiti na. Our next podcast host for tonight is the host of Small Talk. Titingnan natin kung makaka-small talk natin siya ngayon. Hello, Alec Cuenca!
Yes, hello.
Yay!
Naangiti ako kasi sobrang taas ng energy mo. Hindi ko in-expect. Before tayo mag-usap-usap, sobrang kalmado mo. And when the show started, talaga shocked ako eh. Pero yun nga. Hey guys, hello to everyone's listening right now. I hope you're having a great night, afternoon.
Yes. Malito na rin sila dahil sa akin. Sir Alec, ako lang to. Huwag ka malito. Ayan, nagkapalit na tayo. Para nandyan kayo sa aking itaas, ang ating special guests. So, Vlogga fam, if you have any questions for our guests, huwag kayong mahiya. Bawal ang nahihiya dito. Isipin nyo, nandito kayo sa bahay ko at welcome na welcome kayo. Wow, bahay talaga. So, ayan, mag-send kayo ng questions nyo for Adrian and Alec at sisimulan na nga natin. ang ating usapan for tonight. Akala mo talagang may paksyon no? Pinatawag ko kayong lahat dito. Eto
Yes.
na nga, since you guys are podcast hosts, gusto ko pong malaman, ayan, Happy International Podcast Day,
Yeah.
Angelo
Happy.
Garcia. Thank you for being here. I want to know when and why you started sa pagpa-podcast. Sino ang gustong mauna? Nasa classroom tayo. Wah! Volunteer. Kasi
Ano pala
pares
siya?
kayong letter A. Oo. Sino ang
I
gusto
think
mauna?
Sir Alec would have to go first kasi C yung kuwengka niya. So,
Wow.
Okay.
classroom tayo, alphabetical
Binolunteer
tayo.
ka niya. Binolunteer ka
Wala
niya.
na akong magagawa. Okay, fine.
Sorry.
Sige. Well, I started podcasting last year. I think kakalagpas ko pa lang 1 year after May.
Mhm.
And well, before I tried creating vlogs,
Mhm.
and then my cousin gifted me this microphone, and then I was reading a book. And I was just doing regular vlogs, yung mga basic documentaries lang ganun.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
and when I got this mic, I read about podcasting, and I didn't know what podcasts are. But when I searched for it, nakita ko nga na, it's an audio form of content where people listen while they're doing their task. It's really fun. So let's try it out, I said. So I tried it out, and I always wanted to create content that would
Mhm.
help people get inspired, get motivated. And I was really into self-help and self-development. So I figured now, okay, the content that I'm gonna make for the podcast, I'm gonna try to inspire people. I'm gonna try to motivate people. And yeah, and then I started creating weekly episodes, and I haven't stopped since.
Yes, and actually nakita ko Sir Alec, hindi naman sa'yo na-stalk kita ha. Hindi, wag ganun. Nakita ko meron kang series of episodes ng About Success na i-interviewin pa kita maya-maya lamang. Pero bago din natin puntahan ang sagot ni Adrian, gusto ko i-shout out si EJ Regio dahil minsan lang yan dito, EJ. Gusto ko ilagay ng comment. Pinasuportahan ako. Hello, EJ. Okay, Adrian, take it away.
Oh, okay. Oh, I started podcasting this year lang. And to be frank, Sir Alec tuloy. Alec, sir pa ba kita? Sir Alec was one of the
Sir.
first ones. Sorry na nahiya ako. Conscious na ako. But, no, Alec was one of the inspirations as well doing the podcast because we kind of in the same niche na self-development and self-improvement.
Yes.
And I learned about podcasting around 2019. And 2019 was mostly like a year na I was going through something tough. Tapos parang I got through it because of Joy Spring when she started one of her first episodes was the things that I learned in my 20s. And then when I listened to those, I was like, oh my God, it resonates with what I do, with what I live for. And parang life has always been giving you those uncertainty kasi. That's parang the only thing you can do is control yourself and how you react to situations. And then coming through, like, pinagdaanan ko yun, and I've been having great conversations with my friends. Ang joke nga namin, running joke ng friend ko, lahat ng pinapodcast episode ko, napag-usapan na namin to. Kumbaga, nire-review ko, like, note by note ko lang sa inyo lahat na, okay, this is what I learned all throughout those times. And then, I realized after a while, parang wait lang, ang dami ko palang naiisip. Like, I have random thoughts pag naglalakad ako, pag nagko-commute ako. Kaya miss na miss ko mag-commute eh. Every time I walk, every time I ganyan, I would have things to think about and be like, baka pwedeng pag-usapan to. And I was like, okay, dapat magpa-podcast ako. Sabi ko, magpa-podcast ako, but I didn't know how to start. I didn't know where to start. And then I suddenly came along other podcasters from the Philippines, a Podcast PH group, and so many. It was a big community of podcasters that were helping each other. And then the platform Anchor, I figured out Anchor, and then Anchor was easy pala to do. Now you just make an episode, release it, and voila. And luckily, I have my mic before due to streaming. I was streaming games then before. Tapos sabi ko, why not make na nga? So I started lang March 6 this year, as in way before the pandemic. My decision was dead set on to start talaga with the podcast. I'm like, I'm gonna do it whether anything's gonna happen or whatever. I'm just gonna do it because I wanna do it. So ever since, again then, weekly na rin ako naglalabas. But I do take breaks for 2-3 weeks to consume content. Like yung break ko is to actually be inspired with other people around me to see where their work is and all that. So, ayun, although podcasting is mostly like that. And since fan nga ako ng self-help, I was
Yes.
really wanting to try to help people understand themselves better. So kaya siya love, growth, and freedom kasi yun yung principles na I believe in. So parang I wanted to share that na understanding yourself will also help you understand the world around you and how you could react and work through all the things that you have to work on. Then
Yes.
that's it.
Yes, actually pinapakinggan ko pa lang kayo, parang nai-inspire na ako. Parang gusto ko
Oh.
lalong makinig. And that's really what we're gonna talk about kasi 'di ba, lalo yung mga content niyo talagang for inspiring people to help themselves be better. I wanna know ano yung inspiration niyo naman? Kayo muna. Ano ang inspiration niyo with your podcasts? Kapag ginagawa niyo siya or for every episode, ano yung mga inspiration niyo? Bago kayo mang-inspire ng tao. Oh, Sir
Oo.
Alec, ivo-volunteer kita ulit.
Okay.
Go, Sir Alec.
I told this story sa podcast ko before, but back in 2017, I hit the lowest point of my life. I experienced my first heartbreaks, and a lot of people know the first heartbreaks. It's just the worst feeling ever, and I was really down, and I was looking for ways or for people to help me as I go
Mhm.
through that phase. But I didn't have. I mean, I had friends, I had my family back then, but I didn't have that that those people that would help me, like guide me through how I'm feeling, how I'm supposed to be feeling, how I'm supposed to be acting, and all that stuff. How everything's really normal in when you're going
Mhm.
through that phase. And nung nalagpasan ko yun, nung nakabangon ako and I started creating content, I said that I promise that I would share the things that I've learned from my experiences, the insights that I read, to hopefully, pag merong tao, kasi alam ko meron na may mga taong dadaan ulit sa lowest points ng buhay nila, I want to be
Yes.
there for them. I want to
Mhm.
be there to help them, guide them, give them these tools and techniques to um, make them more self-aware and help them as they go through that phase. So that's basically my inspiration. I just had this burning desire to help other people. I feel
Mhm.
like that's something that I'm really happy in doing. So that's what I kept on doing. Yeah.
Yes, to help other people. Very inspiring. Sir Alec, kung gusto mo makatulong, bigay ko yung GCash ko mamaya, ha?
Ibigay ko
May
yung
utang pala.
Gcash QR code.
May utang pala.
Ilabas.
Adrian.
Okay, well, we're not so different from the inspirations. Ang funny kasi, sinabi niya heartbreak din yung reason niya. Well,
Why?
ang funny, ako din, like one of the
Oh
reasons
my
why,
God.
ano
Mhm.
din talaga was because I was going through tough times ng 2019. And then, like, yun yung year ko na nag-grow ako and I did
Mhm.
new things. And then a lot of those were developing new habits, which tinuturo ng Small Talk podcast. Actually, I was listening earlier kanina. There was one time how you start changing your perspective is you change your routine, you change your ganyan.
Mhm.
And we had the same beliefs on all of those. So, a little background on me kasi I'm a preschool teacher. So, alam ko din yung importance ng routine. So, when you teach that to the kids, so it's important sa kids, important din siya sa adults. So, like, it really, parang kami nagko-collide with all those. But I guess we just approach it in a very different way with their own thoughts. But on my end, what inspires me most is growing up kasi, I wanted to be heard. I wanted to be seen.
Mhm.
I wanted to be that way. But nobody could because I was growing up as part of the LGBTQIA community and I've been, struggling with discrimination all my life naman. So those were the things that nobody was there for me to tell me how I could do things. Nobody was there to tell me what you should feel. And there were a few people who understood where I was coming from. And then
Mhm.
sabi ko, I wanna be, alam mo yung feeling na you always wanna be someone na, yung sinasabi nila, be someone that you needed when you were a child. So, growing up, yun yung one of the things that inspire me to be this podcast, like this content I'm creating has been so dear and close to my heart. Like, sobrang every time na sinusulat ko siya, mafe-feel ko yung, parang gusto ko na siya agad i-record pag isusulat ko pa lang yung outline. As in, ganun na siya ka-intense every time I make this, like, podcast episode. So,
Mhm.
so that was one of the ano talaga is to be someone na who wasn't there for you then. So be someone na kaya mong makatulong then with others. So it's really more of, but us, like it's really just the same. But the
Yes.
drive to do it is mostly the same talaga. Yun.
Sobrang ganda, no? Anong sinabi mo na be that person na kinailangan mo nung bata ka, di ba? Kung wala ka naging ganong
Yeah.
example. So, let's not use that as an excuse, guys, na wala kasi kaming ganong role model eh. Then be that
Mhm.
role model, di ba? Para akong beauty queen dito.
Yes. Nasa
Mr.
Miss
Nakit,
Universe
Mr.
tayo ngayon.
And since
Okay.
na-mention niyo yung yung pagsulat niyo ng shows and everything, eto naman, gusto ko naman mag-start sa'yo, Adrian, bilang nabanggit mo na. Yes, may paglipat
Mhm.
pala.
Yes, oo nga
Nabanggit
eh.
mo na yung pinaplano mo yung shows mo, gusto mo nagsusulat agad. And while listening to you, parang nafe-feel ko na it's so easy. Pero syempre, wala akong alam, hindi ako nagpa-podcast. But I wanna know, like, nahihirapan ba kayo with podcast or it comes naturally? How do you plan your shows? How do you plan your podcast?
Nahihirapan ako because may time na may creator's block ka all the time. Like most of the time, pag
Yes.
isusulat mo yung outline mo. But ako kasi, what I do with mine is I just do have every season break. I think about like a process of this explaining. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Wait lang. Kikilig ako. Okay. So what I do is every season break talaga, I sit down with myself and just sit down with myself and my emotions and what I want to say and what story I want to tell. So if you can see my season 1, 2 and 3 ngayon, my third season, it was more of building the foundation of what love, growth and freedom is. Hindi pa ako nagda-divert to like different like random thoughts na nakukuha ko. But what I do is I just write them down like sa notebook. That's why I always have a notebook and a pen with me. And I write it down. Parang wait lang, magandang topic to. So talk about this next time. So sinusulat ko lang siya. When I write it down, I will sit with myself for a while. Tapos may isip ko, ano bang direction ng podcast or direction ng season ang gusto kong ituro? Nung first season, it was more of self-love, understanding bakit kailangan natin to and what we could do to build it up. And then second season was acceptance, forgiveness, and healing, letting go of what was happened before and what you could do now to move forward with it and how you're gonna face with it, how you're gonna deal with emotions. Kasi minsan, you would not know how you could deal with such heartaches and pain na parang galit ka lahat sa mundo. So those were the things that I walked myself through. And doon ako nag-interview ng mga tao. I've interviewed people who also experienced heartbreak. And I had a brave soul who shared her experience with it was sexual harassment and she shared it on my podcast and I was so glad for her that she was able to use that podcast as an avenue for her to release and able to let it go and talk about it. So then the third season we were talking about naman yung mga dark thoughts behind our head, yung comparing ourselves, like yung mga am I ever enough, on chasing the idea of love, like coming soon pa yon. But those are the things that nandito sa season 3 was more of, ano nga ba, yung mga dark thoughts ko na akala ko ako lang nakakaisip pero hindi lang pala ako. So that's how I write it. And then after ko i-plot down, I'll just write the outline. And then I message people I could interview. I message people I deem fit dun sa interview. Kahit sino of all background, I don't really mind. I just want to have a conversation. And that's it. Yun lang naman yung usual part ng podcasting. But it's never easy kasi parang may times na magbe-breakdown kasi hindi mo na alam anong gagawin mo. Like, parang, wait lang, kasi ikaw lahat eh. Like, you're marketing your own podcast and social networks, all that pa. So, that's it. Yun, pasa kay Alec.
So, pero quick shout out no bilang sinabi ni Sir Adrian na talagang you produce your own content, ikaw na nag-market, ikaw na lahat. So sa mga tunay po nating kaibigan dyan, libre po mag-share ng mga ganito. I-share nyo po yung kung may artist friends kayo, wag nyo pong kinukuripot. Okay? Wag po tayong ganon. Okay, Sir
True.
Alec, take it away.
Very similar din naman sa thought process. Pero what made our podcast different from the other podcasts? Kasi usually the podcast you have this conversation between two people. When Adrian and me were doing this on our own, we're solo podcasters, so we're having these conversations with ourselves. And one thing that kaya a lot of people keep on asking me, paano mo nagagawa na sobrang dami mong nasasabi, sobrang dami mong topics na pag-uusapan. And the thing that I do, I don't try to create, sorry, narinig ni aso, pero
okay lang po.
I don't try to force myself to create content that I would feel would Well, syempre, I'm in this business of trying to give
Yeah.
value to other people. Pero what most of the people don't see is that the things that I've been saying on the podcast are the things that I've been struggling with myself. Like those are the things that in this week, anong problema mo? Are you having anxieties? Are you overthinking? Are you doubting yourself? Are you not happy with the habits that you have? What are the things that you're struggling with? And those are the things that I would like to talk about. I would like to research about and try to apply it on myself.
Mhm.
And one thing that I've learned is that the more personal the experience is, the more universal it is. Parang you talked about, Erica, kanina, yung the law of attraction. And I really believe that parang we release these energy, these frequencies, and we're all connected some way, somehow. And that's the same with experiences. No? Ibang form factor, ibang way of teaching us the lessons in this life. But the more personal it is, the more universal it is. So somehow the problems that I have, it connects to a lot of people, and a lot of people can resonate with it. And that's
Exactly.
that's the same with Adrian, with the content that he does.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it becomes very genuine kapag talagang na-experience mo.
Yeah.
Like, pwede mo siyang pag-usapan kahit anong paraan, kahit anong itanong sa inyo, di ba? And na-mention niyo po na iba yung sa inyo kasi you guys are solo podcasters. So,
Most of the
ano yung,
time, yeah.
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 ano yung
About,
pinaka
yeah.
nagiging challenge nyo whenever you do it solo compared to when you have someone to talk to? Ano yung pinaka-challenge na na-experience nyo?
Minsan I go
This time,
around.
okay, go for
Like
it.
paulit-ulit siya. Sorry. Parang siyang, it feels like you're talking to yourself. So parang minsan nagja-jumble yung thoughts mo and just goes around in your head. And minsan ma-repeat mo yung idea. But the thing about solo podcasting, hindi ko rin makontrol yung sarili ko pag tumuloy-tuloy na. So I really have to keep tab of the time na parang, wait lang, I've been thinking out loud too long already. So let me just divert it into that. So yun.
Ako, I
Yun
feel
lang yung
like one of the limitations of being a solo podcaster is that parang ano yan parang nyari, you're a single battery and you put it syempre mas malakas kung dalawang baterya yon, di ba? More cells, more energy, more output. And the limitations when you're all alone, walang magsasabi sa'yo, walang magbibigay sa'yo ng another opinion, ng second opinion, walang magsasabi sa'yo, walang makikipag-argue sa'yo. Parang everything that you put out, that's basically the dangers of being a solo podcaster. You need to be sure of what you're saying kasi no one is gonna be there for you to parang mali yan, parang hindi kaya, ganito kaya. Well, no one's there to argue with it. No one's there to clarify things. You're just there on your own. So it's very important for a solo podcaster to really research about the things that he is saying. And yeah.
Talagang nakakaloka din naman, di ba? Kahit po ako naloloka kapag kausap ko lang sarili ko. Wala po kasi akong friends. Nagsumbong pala.
Nag-open up na.
Oo nga, nag-open up. Akala ko kasi open forum. Yung mga ating pinag-uusapan sa podcasts, di ba minsan, when you post it, you can also edit it. I wanna know, have you guys done podcasts na live? As in, eto na. Gina. Okay, ikaw, Sir Alec, yes?
Yes, I actually
Okay.
did a fundraiser for Podcast Network Asia, yung sa COVID frontliners. Live session siya, kaya medyo familiar na rin ako dito sa StreamYard. 1 hour podcasting lang talaga. Pero at that time, I didn't have anything to talk about, so I tried parang 30 minutes quick content. Ang mahirap kasi sa live, Adrian, pag na-try mo siya, ibang-iba siya compared dun sa sobrang comfortable mo kasi pag ikaw mag-isa.
Yes.
Kalmado ka, andun ka na sa zone mo, madali. Pero when you're doing it live, there are so many factors that you need to consider and you feel like you're speaking to a lot of people. Like, alam naman natin maraming nakikinig sa podcast, pero pag live kasi parang nakatayo na sa stage, tas ang daming natingin and nakadagdag yung pressure. Pero I feel like mas masaya yun kasi yung interaction din sa tao, mas feel mo kung paano sila nakaka-connect sa sinasabi mo, and that's one of the best feelings ever then.
Natatakot po ba kayo magkamali kapag live?
Oo, natatakot ako magkamali, pero parang piece of advice na rin. When people say that are you natatakot ka ba ganyan? The way I look at it, Like all people have their flaws and imperfection, and I have mine. So if I show mine and you won't show yours, that's okay. Pero I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure that you have the same flaws that I have. Probably ibang
Mhm.
form, pero you're as perfect as I am. You're as imperfect as I am, and that's one way to, I feel like, people could add in their life na para hindi sila masyado may insecure. They're constantly trying to compare themselves to other people, and they feel like other people are better than them,
Mhm.
and if you really think that other people are better than you, then you should also think that other people are worse than you. So it's kind of, you're always in the middle. So you got to stop comparing yourself. You got to stop being scared, and sometimes you're scared, and that's okay. Like
Yeah.
you still got to do the things that you got to do. Just do it scared na lang, 'di ba? If you're scared
Yeah,
Yes.
and you're scared and
exactly.
you're thinking that you can you do this, can you do that? No, just do it even though you're scared. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sobrang naniniwala din ako dun sa do it scared. Kung natatakot ka, edi gawin mo pa rin kahit
Yeah.
takot ka. Basta nagawa mo, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Ang ganda
Totoo.
nun. Mm.
And like,
At
wala ka
ito,
namang mawawala if hindi
Mm.
ita-try mo siya ng kahit takot ka, G lang, okay?
Mm.
yes, ang mawawala sa inyo, yung chance na i-try siya kung hindi niyo
Yes.
siya tinry, 'di ba? Ito naman ang question
Definitely.
ko sa'yo, Adrian, bilang hindi mo pa na-experience yung live na
Mhm.
pag-podcast. I wanna know naman yung mga struggles mo or yung mga favorite parts mo when you record for a podcast. Like, ano yung mga
Um,
favorites mo, ano yung mga ayaw mong mangyari?
Favorites ko is whenever that the topic that I wrote for, minsan I always deviate from the outline that I make. Yung favorite ko is when I get to share real experiences of how it happened to me and explain how this works for all of
Mhm.
us. And somehow, that's my favorite part. And the worst part siguro, or the least favorite, is when I feel like when you don't feel like to be in front of a camera or in front of your mic and be like, you have to do this because the episode's the next day. When you cram, when you're
Mhm.
not inspired or motivated, because you get demotivated once in a while. It's a cycle. I guess it's a cycle, and there's a way that you get over it, or to just get you to push through that demotivation phase of your life. But yun, yung least yun, I remember having a breakdown. I have one episode. I think nilagay ko siya sa episode because I rarely do a lot of edits. I just put in raw files mostly,
Mhm.
and I just edit the
Mhm.
quality of the audio and just put it out there because it's really that. It's more of,
Mhm.
that's why I went into podcasting, because I wanted to be as raw, as vulnerable as that. And then may time ata nun, sabi ko, guys, so thank you for listening talaga. Like, sabi ko, I had a breakdown today, and like, sinabi ko talaga yan, sabi ko, I'm just thankful that you're here. If you're listening, I am happy that you're here. Like, yun nandun siya sa podcast. And it was one of the most, na parang, grabe, ang hirap pala maging all the time hyper and energetic
Yeah.
on a lot of level, when you're not feeling good. So I guess that's one of the challenges on my end, pag demotivated talaga. Yeah.
And speaking of demotivated, lalo ngayong pandemic, almost everyone talaga feels exhausted at hindi natin sila masisisi. Ano yung mga nararanasan niyo ngayon when you do your podcast na hindi niyo naranasan when you were doing it before the pandemic, before quarantine? If there's anything you can share or anything na pwede niyong comfortable sa inyo na i-share.
Hmm. Ay, wait lang. So I'll just go with one. Ako wala kasi I
Mm.
started as in like at the helm of the
Yung
pandemic,
papunta
as in March 6, so
oo.
like March 6, the weekend before. And parang I was so excited pa naman sana if there wasn't any lockdown, there wasn't any pandemic. I was so excited to meet people in person. Like
Yes.
happy ako rin kasi I have enough set to interview people and like go just do it, meet people. And
Mhm, mhm.
yung feeling nun kasi was you're gonna meet new people and you're gonna learn from their experiences and you're gonna make friends. Those were one of the things that hope ko sana. So hindi ko siya nagagawa ngayon in person, but you get to do it in Zoom. But
Mhm.
iba pa din eh. Iba pa din when you
Yes.
make real connection and you guys like hang out and that's all. So I guess that's one of the things that I would want sana if there wasn't any pandemic.
Yeah. So, nasakto kay Adrian nung nag-start siya, papasok
True.
na, papasok na. How about
Mm-mm.
you, Sir Alec?
Actually, similar din. It's unfair to say that we're lucky, diba, with the pandemic
Yes.
going on. It's
Mhm,
really
mhm.
insensitive. But for the podcast, since a lot of people are in their houses, just sitting on their phones and trying to consume content, the the pandemic actually helped the podcast to
Yeah.
reach a lot of people dahil they got the chance to discover the podcast. And since before I wasn't really looking forward to meeting other people, so I didn't lose. Actually, it became more advantageous to me because I didn't have the network. I was
Yeah.
a normal guy studying in college, and I didn't have the network to try to reach to other people. And then the pandemic came. I forced to hard cold email, DM other people, try to connect with them. And nagulat na lang ako na mas madali ngayon silang i-approach dahil
Yes.
they're always on their phone na rin. Wala
Yeah.
sila masyado mga projects. And yeah, dun ko rin nakita na parang sometimes we think, especially now, the new normal, ang hirap talaga mag-adjust. Well, in the first
Mhm.
weeks talaga, mahirap talaga mag-adjust. Pero we gotta understand na those things are beyond our control. Na
Yes.
hindi naman natin talaga pwedeng makontrol na labas tayo, dito tayo sa bahay. But we can actually turn these events into something meaningful, into something that can give us a certain fulfillment in our lives. And that's what I did. Like, I
Mhm.
told myself na you have no excuse. Like, you are in front of your
No
computer,
excuses.
so make your podcast episode. So that's what I did.
Yeah. No excuses talaga. And since you guys mentioned it, na like ikaw, Sir Alec, nagdi-DM ka na ng mga tao ngayon na listen to this if you
Yeah.
can, if you have time. How else do you attract listeners?
Okay, so, well, the TikTok really
Oh,
helped me put where I am right now. If it weren't for TikTok, I wouldn't able to reach the talagang yung mga taong kaduluduluhan ng Pilipinas. Pero because of TikTok, I started creating videos 4 months ago, I think 5 months
mhm,
ago, and I was looking for a way to try to, because I felt like the podcast, it wasn't for everybody. Like,
mhm,
people
mhm.
don't have the patience to sit
Yes.
down and listen to podcasts. So as I was looking for a way to create more content to help more people. And
Mhm.
I said na everyone's using TikTok. How about I download it, I give it a try. So download ko, nakita ko, ng mga una, I was seeing people dancing, lip syncing, sumasayaw.
Yeah.
Ganun lang, di ba? Then I saw a video of teacher Laika where she was teaching the basic difference of the use of and
Yes.
an,
Mhm.
the and the,
Yeah.
mga ganon. And I said na parang, okay, you can teach in TikTok. So that's what I did.
Yes.
I told myself, okay, every single day I will post a motivational video on TikTok. And then um fortunately, I blew up on TikTok. Parang ilang buwan pa lang ako doon. Tapos sobrang dami nung nag-semi-viral yung mga videos ko. Tapos, I put the name Small Talk Podcast. Now, everyone
Mhm.
who saw the video knows I have a podcast. They go check it out. So, from literally nowhere in the charts, now I'm right up there. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really good.
congrats talaga
Love
yon.
it.
He did
Thank you so
great.
much. So, if to summarize it all, cross promotion in all of your social media accounts. Every single platform, post it.
Mhm.
Find what works for you.
Oh, ayan, may mga tips na tayo sa Blogafam natin na gusto mag-try out ng podcast at medyo iniisip paano sila magma-market. How about you, Adrian? How do you
Oh,
attract
ayun,
listeners?
it's through stories. Actually, through stories sa IG. Because sa IG ako talaga nag-start with content creation since
Mhm.
2017. So I've been uploading there. Like, it started as IGTV lang. Like,
Yes.
ang vision ko talaga before was just parang video diary, ganyan.
Yes.
That's in the works right now. Parang gusto ko yung parang, okay guys, this is a video diary, ganyan, ganyan. So yung parang vlog. Yun yung plan, but yun nga, medyo madaming on the plate right now, so I can't really focus on that yet. But yun, I na-inspire din ako dun sa TikTok, but there are certain people kasi talaga who can to slim it down in just a minute. Like, oh, wow, that's so great. Ang galing-galing. Ako kasi parang I feel like I'm always rushed pag nagsasalita ako ng 1 minute.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
still trying and learning the ropes. But I do stories. Ako usually, I just do stories. I check in with the followers and like, how are you guys doing? Check in Wednesdays and really connect with people on that end. So, ako, ang ginagawa ko pag sa stories, tulad today, recently I've been I've been happy din kasi I've been getting like messages now, wait, I listened to this episode of yours na parang this and I'm like, oh, thank you, grabe, as in like, mayroon ako from London siya, tapos ako, oh my gosh,
Ah!
nag-message talaga siya sa akin, tapos ako, oh my God, like grabe yung na-fulfill niya yung parang, okay, grabe, meron pala akong naabot na ganon. So from then on, what I try to do is like, I try to include like my morning routines. Tas, yun nga, when I listen to Changing the Routine, yun nga, with Alex podcast earlier, um, sakto kasi I was already changing my routine. I was trying to wake up
Mhm.
earlier to make my morning coffee. And in my morning coffee, I just play one song that makes me dance and happy. And then I put it to story while I make my coffee and I just dance and have fun. So yung mga ganon can bring in din kasi na parang, oh, wait lang, mayroon pala ako nito. Like, if you guys wanna listen, swipe up. Mga ganong peg lang siya of it all. So, that's one. But I would like to learn more, Alec. If natutunan mo more, I would like to try
Pa-tips
your
ka
ways.
naman.
Yes.
Pa-tips ka daw, Sir Alec. Pero ayun nga, sabi nga, it's really helpful to use other platforms to promote your own channel. So, wag kayong susuko. Kagaya nga nung sample ni Sir Alec, di ba? Hindi niya naman akalain na nung ginamit niya yung TikTok ay magbo-blow up ngayon na parang, okay, eto na. And he started from somewhere. You gotta start somewhere talaga, Vlog FM. So, wag kayong mawawala ng pag-asa if you feel like, ay, nagpo-post ako, wala namang nakakakita, wala namang nakikinig. So, huwag
Mm.
kayong mawawala ng pag-asa. And speaking of mga ganyang moments na nakaka-down, I wanna know, ito pang chichismis ko, ako talaga may tanong nito.
Okay,
May mga
sige.
nagbabash na ba sa inyo sa mga podcasts nyo? And how do you deal with bashers? Gusto ko yung chismosa yung peg ko dito.
Okay lang.
Dito ko
Nag-isip din
ginagaya.
ako.
'Di ba?
Okay lang.
Nakakaloka
Ikaw ba,
kasi.
Adrian? Meron ka na bang haters?
Actually, wala pa naman. So, I might not have made it yet kasi wala pa akong haters. But, I have to have haters. Para pag nag-hater na ako dun kasi sabihin, guys, I made it. I've got haters.
Mama, I made it.
But I don't. I think kasi, for me naman yun sa dahil, but I think, generally, when you create kasi content like this, yung
Mhm.
perspective ko lang, maybe people don't, you promote kasi a spirit of like, yung imperfection, you accepting imperfect things, and that's how you are. So sometimes, parang I don't think people see a reason to hate. Kasi parang kahit naman, I hate myself more than you could ever hate me. So what else could you? Bring it on. Like, ganun lang yung masasabi ko if I would deal. But I've never had like a legit basher to tell me na ang pangit ng inaano mo. So I'm like, okay. So, hindi mo pa narinig or wala pa nakarinig na hater ko. So anything, mag-hate. But, siguro, because of the content na pinaput out mo, you're trying to teach and give value. Tas yung pinag-uusapan din naman sa mga podcasts is really accepting imperfections about yourself most of the time and doing something new for yourself. I think people resonate more than it's just na parang, oh, kailangan ko i-hate to. It takes away. Inaalis kasi na yung animosity.
Yeah.
That kind of podcast kinds of remove the animosity from people. And sabi nga ni Alec, it's more personal, it's more universal. So, pag nakaka-relate din sila, it's really like, okay, ba't ko paawayin to? Masama na nga siguro yung pagdadaanan nito, paawayin ko pa. Parang ganun. I think, So, naive siguro ako to think people are inherently kind, but I wish and hope always na people can be kinder to
Yes.
everybody around us. Yeah.
Yes,
Yun.
perfect. And sana, pag may nang bash sa'yo, Sir Adrian, sabihan mo lang ako bahala dyan.
Na-jump
Pag
din
ano,
pa natin.
perfect pala. Sir Alec.
The podcast community has been very kind. Wala masyadong bashers sa mga nakikinig sa podcast kasi feeling nila when you're listening to the podcast, you have that conversation with the other person, with the host. So there's a little room for hate in the podcast community, except for if you really try, in the self-development niche. Ewan ko sa ibang mga podcast siguro, but I did get bashers sa TikTok. Like, I constantly get bashers, people bashing the videos na, who are you to say those things? Like, anong credentials mo? Sino ka? Sino ka ba? Bakit ka namin papakinggan? Mga ganon. And honestly, sometimes, natatempt ka na sagutin.
Yes,
Pero,
yes.
I really love this quote, or this lesson by Gary Vaynerchuk na if you reply to the comment, then you're giving time and instead of trying to produce more positive content. So you can't fight negativity with negativity. So the
Yes.
only way that you could drown negativity is to produce more positive content, positivity in your life. And so that's what I try my best to do. Sometimes I flip out, nagre-reply pa rin ako, smiley, heart, ganun na lang. Pero that's yun na yung maximum ko. Pag talagang hindi ko na kaya, heart. Isang malaking heart. Dadagdarin ko sila ng maraming heart. Kaya ayan.
like.
Sana all patient, di ba? Na binabash ka na, binibigyan mo pa ng heart. Kung kailangan mo ng tulong, Sir Alec, pakilista na lang.
Oo.
Ano talaga ako dito?
Mag-heart. So na lang mag-heart at mag-set ng
Nagko-collect
smiley
pala
para
talaga
sa'yo.
ako. Nagko-collect pala talaga ako ng mga nagbabash. Eto from Karshi. Nag-hello siya sa ating lahat.
Hi.
Very interesting topic. Hello,
Yeah,
hello.
she's voice ko to, guys. If you guys have something, go. Daan kayo sa kanya. She does voiceovers. Yeah.
Oh.
Love it, love it,
Yeah.
love it. And good luck
Love,
po and
love.
congratulations. Yes. Okay, eto naman. May mga nagtatanong kanina. Actually, may nagtanong na nito sa comment section kanina. Pero umpisa pa lang ng show, may nag-comment na. And medyo pang finale yung mga ganitong tanong.
Sige, go.
I'm gonna put you guys on solo layout. And I want you to give your advice to aspiring podcasters out there na mga nanonood ngayon. Okay, pero no pressure naman. Let me know sino gustong mauna bago ko i-solo layout. Baka sabihin nyo, wala akong pakisama dito eh. Okay.
Okay, I'll go first para si Alec na ang finale for the advice.
Okay.
Kasi
I'm gonna
bigyan
put
ng advice ni Alec.
Binolunteer mo na talaga yung sarili mo.
Alright.
Ako mag-close ng show. Char, okay, let's do this.
Let's go.
Hi. So, for all of you, if those who want to try a podcast and make a podcast, for me, if you guys have experiences you want to share and thoughts that you want to share out, do it. Like, just write them down. And if you want to share them, share them. No one's gonna stop you because these thoughts are valid. Everything that you feel, everything that's going on in your life, and the experiences that you have is always valid. But again, and all those things na pinagdadaan natin as people and you want to share, let's also try to keep it at that kindness. You always have to want na it's something that's gonna give value to the people who's gonna listen to you, and you're gonna put this out because you want to. It's not gonna be something external. Wag niyong isipin yung mga, I wanna get more views, I wanna get listens, I wanna get like that. No, you do it because you want to do it. And if you ever feel scared, and if you ever feel like no one's gonna listen to you, it doesn't really matter how many people listens to you, but the fact that one person or two other person or three other persons will listen to that podcast and connect with you and have that idea na, okay, they're not alone, it means the world na to actually know that there are people who resonates with these things that you've been going through. And yun nga, again, we were talking about kanina din na you're gonna have to do something when you're scared. Even when you're scared, just do it. Yun nga, because courage is not the absence of fear. It's really just having fear there and keep going through and pushing through even though you're scared. So that's it. So be courageous and kind, and yeah, enjoy your life and share it. Create content where your heart is passionate with. And that's all. That's all I could say.
Yes! I love it! Pinapalakpakan ka ng ating Blogga fam at kino-quote ka na rin ng Blogga fam at may pa-hashtag
Thank
na din
you.
tayo. May
Adrian,
pa-hashtag
knowledge,
na.
wow.
Oh, nga. Thank you. I
Grabe.
might have to use that. Thank you.
Malaking tulong. Now, it's your time to shine para sa ating finale. Sir Alec, take it away.
So for everyone who wants to do something, regardless kung ano yun, whether it's creating a podcast, creating content, posting your stories, or whatever, I have 3 things for you, and I want you to write them down para mas matandaan nyo. And the first thing is just start. And I really believe that in every success story, itong tatlo, ito yung pinakamahalaga doon. First is just start. Adrian talked about it. If you're scared, do it. Still do it kahit matakot ka. Gawin mo takot ka, right? But if you feel like this thing, this choice will make you ultimately happy, will make you genuinely happy, then go do it. We only get one chance to live in this life, so it's very important to live the way that we want to live. So stop thinking about whatever other people's opinions. Stop thinking about what other people might say or might think. just do it. So that's the first one, right? In every aspect that you do. If you want to start a podcast, then just do it. You don't know how to do it, go to Podcast PH. We help with the starters there, and just do it,
Yeah.
right? So that's the first one. The second is don't stop. So just do it and don't stop. Start and don't stop. The average starting podcaster, they produce 14 episodes and then they quit. Like 70% of people who start their podcast, an average non 14 episode. So they won't probably. I can remember when I was just starting, I had 5 listeners, 10 maybe, and most of them were from my account on Spotify, and from my family and friends. And if I kept on looking at the numbers, I wouldn't probably be here speaking to you guys. So if you've already started, then the second thing that you need to do is don't stop. Don't quit. Just keep on going, keep on figuring things out, keep on learning how to master your craft, how to get better at the things that you're doing, and don't stop. So that's the second thing. First, start. Second, don't quit. Don't stop. Third is have faith. Everything I really love kaya ang ganda rin ng simula nung live na to nung nabanggit ni Erica yung sa law of attraction. Like I really believe in the power of the universe. And if you don't have faith in God, I know some people actually don't have faith in God, that's okay. But have faith in the universe that everything that is happening in this life is for you. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you. You're not behind, you're not ahead, you're exactly where you need to be. And you need to have faith in order for you to see the things na gusto ipakita sa'yo ng mundo, kung anong gusto ipakita sa'yo ni Lord, you need to have faith. So that's the last thing. First is start. Second, don't stop. Third is have faith. And I hope I can see you guys creating your own podcast in the Podcast PH group. And if you guys need help, need any advice, I always answer the DMs. So just send me a message at Small Talk Podcast na rin if you have any questions.
Yes! Actually, gusto ko sana bumulong kanina nung minention mo ako, Sir Alec, na, Sir Alec, ako lang to. Kaya lang makakagulo tayo. Makakagulo. Okay na. Alam mo, habang nagsasalita din siya na parang naniniwala siya sa law of attraction, yung universe yung kumakausap sa'yo. Parang gusto ko umiyak ng slight. Parang ganon. And sa sobrang lupit ng sinabi mo, kahit si Adrian nag-agree sa'yo sa comment section habang nagsasalita. Diba? So, mahiya na ako bumulong.
Magaling din yun magsalita.
Yes, and may mga nag-take note na nga. Ayan, I love it na tinitake note ng ating Vlog fam and my man, my G. So thank you so much, Adrian and Alec. May mga gusto po ba kayo i-promote before we end tonight's live stream? And I hope you guys had fun. I had fun. I had so much fun.
It was an
mag-promote
amazing
na po
time.
kayo.
Yeah, the pleasure is all mine. Sobrang saya na experience ito. Hope umulit pa ulit tayo dito, Adrian.
Yeah,
so I could invite some of you guys. Dahil it's your energy is just, it's really inspiring. Talagang medyo mababa yung energy ko kanina papasok, pero nung sinimulan mo talaga.
Ako lang to.
And Adrian, yun lang. I just wanna be thankful na rin to share this moment with Adrian. I really love your podcast, and I really believe that what we're doing is really a help to the people around in this world, in the Philippines. So let's just keep on doing what we need to do. Plug ko na rin yung mga social media accounts ko. If you want to follow me, if you want to listen to the podcast, go on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts and search for Small Talk Podcast. Ayun, small conversations with huge impact. And I hope you enjoy those episodes. And follow me on Spotify, on TikTok and Instagram. It's at Small Talk Podcast. And if you're interested in receiving weekly newsletters, I try to write weekly motivational and I'll send them directly to your email. Send me your email sa Instagram, sa TikTok, kahit saan, and I'll add you to the mailing list. So, yeah.
Alright.
See, grabe inspiring talaga si Alec. You guys, I aspire to be like Alec one day. Grabe yung tiyaga niya, I swear, all loves. And you all know naman na, kaya if you guys were here, one of the inspirations then was Alec. When I started podcasting, I started listening to his, and it really just got me really happy na parang it was colliding and all of those. Tas parang I was also learning at the same time. So parang yun nga, I just also want to promote na lang my podcast. It's also Love, Growth, and Freedom, a podcast that believes in love, acknowledges growth, and advocates freedom. So those are the three things that I believe in, and I really always want to share those kinds of things, and those are the things that parang goes on with life naman. You will figure out that this is intertwined, and you'd realize na magkakasabay to. May love ka sa life mo, you wouldn't notice. So join me as I venture this life uncharted minsan. So you can follow me at @Lim on my Instagram, Love Grow Free on Twitter, Love Growth and Freedom on Facebook. And hopefully, one day magaya ko din si Alec na may weekly news. Grabe yung news na. I saw that. I was like,
Kaya mo
grabe.
yun, madali lang yun.
Grabe talaga. Grabe talaga. Sabi ko, hands down to Sir Alec there. And may merch si Sir Alec, guys. Gusto ko na mo. May merch
Oh,
na, guys.
mag-release ako ng merch ko soon, so check that out na rin.
Yan.
Yes. So, abangan nyo sila, Vlogga Fam. And kung aabangan nyo sila, baka naman po, kumayo din po ako tonight. Pakiabangan na rin po ako, kung po pwede lang naman. You'll see me guys tonight on Kumu at 8:30 p.m. Gusto ko hindi ako sure. At 8:30 p.m. Sa mga di po nakakaalam, pinagpaalam ko po to kay Miss Ace. Opo, hindi po tayo nagpa-plug dito ng walang paalam. Meron po tayong acting challenge for Be The Star sa ating Star Hunt ABS-CBN acting competition. 8:30 p.m. on Kumu. I hope you guys can find me at Erica Lucas, and you can find me at Erica Lucas on all my social media accounts. Thank you so much, Vlogga Fam. Tonight was so fun. Thank you, Alec and Adrian. At lagi nga, sinasabi ko sa inyo, maniwala tayo sa law of attraction. Mata sa langit, paa sa lupa. Bye!
Galing.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.